life turned her that way.
All right, here I am at Bobby Mackey's Music World, a place that Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures refused to even come back to. This is supposed to be one of the most haunted bars in America. We're gonna have some spirits, but we're also gonna do a ghost tour here as well. So let's go. Here we go. Ready, Connor? Bobby Mackey's. Let's do this. So we just signed up for the 10 o'clock tour. We're going to be doing this here in a little bit. What they do is they take us down into the basement. Now, if you know nothing about Bobby Mackey's Music World, it's got a history from gangsters during the Prohibition era to being a slaughterhouse before that. And there's supposedly a lot of demonic activity that happens here at the bar. If you're a Ghost Adventures fan, they filmed a couple of episodes here, and they refuse to come back to this day because of the evil demonic presence here at the bar. So we're gonna go and do the tour. Why not, right? So if anything happens, you'll see it here. And here's Bobby Mackey himself. He's the owner of this bar. He's a country singer. He's actually playing tonight too, so we'll see him later tonight. And here's another picture of Bobby Mackey sitting right next to the main bar. And here's the gift shop. This is where you sign up for the main ghost tours. Here they've got t-shirts for sale that state the most haunted nightclub in America, and this is where you sign up for the ghost tour. And over here is just a lot of memorabilia, particularly records of Bobby Mackey from back in the day. Wish us luck.
All right, have fun. Oh, good. You're not missing any stories, are you?
So I am not. So what is your name again?
Carrie.
Carrie, and you're a psychic?
No.
One back here is
You're a psychic.
I'm a psychic. Right here.
You're all psychics.
Big deal right here.
I'm with a party of psychics, and I know nothing. I couldn't even tell you what's going to happen in like 2 seconds. Anyway, we're going around the back.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Mark, and I'm going to be your tour guide tonight, obviously, since
Hey, Mark.
here I am. Is everybody having a good time so far tonight?
Yeah. Yes.
Is the M for Mackey or for Mark?
It could
It's
be
for
both.
Mark.
Alright.
Okay, up till June of last year, when we had all this big rain and the whole hillside came down, took out the telephone poles and covered the road and everything. There used to be wooden telephone poles down through here. But when they cleaned it up, they replaced a lot of these wooden ones with these metal ones. There used to be a wooden one right here. Right after Bobby bought the place, there was an automobile accident at that telephone pole where 2 people got killed in that accident. First officer arrived on the scene, was sitting there waiting for the life squad to get there and the other officers to show up. While he was waiting, the lady came out of these double doors, brought him out of 2 tablecloths to cover the bodies up with. The lady followed the officer all around the car, stood behind him the whole time he was covering the bodies up. Officer stood up, turned around and thanked the lady. She was gone, just vanished. Kind of like our paychecks every week, they're just gone. So the next morning, Chief of Police calls Bobby up to thank him for the help this lady gave his officer and to make arrangements to have the tablecloths cleaned and returned back to him. Also wanted to find out who the lady was because he wanted to see if she might have knew more about the accident. Bobby says, I don't know what you're talking about. At the time the accident happened, the bar was closed. Nobody was in the building. The doors were all locked and the alarms were set. So if anybody would have came out of any of the doors, they would have been responding to a B&E call as well. And that was actually written into the Wilder Police Department's logbooks for that day. But they never did find out who the lady was or how she could have got in or out of the building without setting off an alarm, and then to just disappear the way she did right in front of the officer. And Bobby even told the chief on the phone, he said, I don't even have an employee working for me. It even fits the description of what this woman did. So now, if you'll follow me, we'll head down and around to the basement.
All right.
Police car literally just pulled up after telling that story.
And the alcohol that I'm hiding.
She's a smart girl. I love that. You should have thought of that.
Okay, so now we're going to the basement. So we walk around the bar and there's like a sliding door down there, and that's supposedly where most of the activity is at this bar. So we're heading right into the lion's den. If anything happens, you'll see it here.
I always tell everybody before we go in, The scariest part of this whole tour is going down into a dark basement with some creepy old man you don't know.
True. You could be a serial killer.
That's
He
right.
said his name was Mark.
It could be an alias.
Going in.
If you can go right down in that area there and stop.
So here we are inside the basement. That's supposed to happen, by the way. Bottles shoot down this. There's like a bottle shoot here. So it's not the ghosts, it's not the demons.
That's all the
Really well.
alcoholics around here.
Actually, this white pipe right here and this white pipe right over here, those are beer bottle chutes from the bar upstairs. They are spirits, just not the kind of looking for. And even though you know what it is, you never know when they're coming down. So they'll get you a lot of times. But I had a whole busload of girls in here one time, came down from Boston, Massachusetts, age 10 to 14. Brought them in here to take a tour. That first beer bottle came down. All our ears were hurting so bad because they were all screaming so bad, running around all over the place. I'm standing there laughing. It was so funny. Well, the original building that was built on this site was built as a slaughterhouse. It was built back in 1850. It ran as a slaughterhouse from 1850 to the early 1890s. Then the business closed down. The building remained vacant until the early 1900s, and then it was torn down. But in the time that the building remained vacant, people would sneak into the basement of that building and use the well that's still down here for satanic ritualing. I guess they figured since so much blood was dumped down into the well all the years that it was a slaughterhouse, that they figured it'd be a great place to try to open up a portal directly to hell itself by trying to do sacrifices and dumping their offerings in there. Some people believe they succeeded at it, others not so much. After the building was torn down, another little building was built over what was left of it. But the foundation opened up as a general store, saloon type business. It was known as the Bluegrass Inn. Actually, this wall right here is the outside wall of that original little building. Now that ran until the 1920s, and when Prohibition started, it converted it into a speakeasy brothel type establishment. Now that ran until the 1930s. Then a man by the name of E.A. Brady came in, bought the property, built all this that you see around here, around the existing building, fixed it up really nice, had a casino added into it, which is now the Bull Room, and it opened up as the Primrose. Now the Primrose ran until 1947, and it was doing such an amazing business that it actually caught the attention of the mob, which was prevalent down here in Newport at the time. Well, the mob came up, took the business over, and when they did, they changed it from the Primrose to the Latin Quarter. Now, the Latin Quarter ran through the late 40s, 50s, and 60s, and finally it was forced to close down due to gaming law changes and all the other illicit activities going on because the mob was running it. They were actually starting to clean the mob out of Newport and just run them out of town. And by getting this place shut down was pretty much, they drove them to the point where they couldn't gamble at all. They were down to bingo, and then they were hassling them about that because they wanted them gone. After they went out, a couple little businesses shot it down real quickly. There was even a Hard Rock Cafe here for a while, but it wasn't Hard Rock even enough. It was like a roughneck fight. It was finally forced to close down by the city because all the burgers out in the parking lot and all the fights and scams going on in the bar. After they went out, the building stayed empty for another year and a half or so, and then Bobby bought it in 1978, and it's been his ever since. Actually, exactly a month or 4 weeks ago, we celebrated our 42nd anniversary here, so it's been pretty cool.
How long have you been here?
I've been doing the tours here for 11 and a half years now. 11 and a half years. I've done a lot of research, and that's why I watch some of these shows. Some of these shows, I like some of them. I like most of them, but there's a few, But I'll find inconsistencies in these shows, even though I'm watching them, and I like the shows. Ghost Adventures, for example.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that I
They-
saw.
It's the one.
I like them. They were fun. I hung out with all three of them. They were great. Nick comes in here every once in a while still, and we sit around bull crap. But when they did the first investigation here, they went up the tunnel supposed to go to the well. Well, the tunnel they went up to was not actually to the well. It was actually one of the storm drain pipes, because if you get halfway up into the tunnel, when they were showing it, it's all lit up. Well, it's all lit up because they're right underneath the where the water dumps in from the street into to the tunnel. And then when they went on back farther, all they were doing was going under the street. And when they got to the end of it, of course, he turned and looked up. Oh, there's the well now. That's going to the other drain thing. So there's just little inconsistencies like that I'll see. You know, actually, the first time Ghost Adventures here, they had a camera set up right here, pointing back in this direction. Right in this area here is where they caught the shadow figure with the cowboy hat on.
And that was true?
That was actually true, yeah. Yeah.
See that.
They went right across through there and disappeared. Now, people claim they've seen dark shadow figures back in that area, as well as this room here. People claim they've seen dark shadow figures peeking out the doorway and go back in and come down and look, and there's nobody there. Now, I've been here, like I say, 11 and a half years doing the tours. I'm down here in this basement 2 days, 3 o'clock in the morning by myself, every Friday and Saturday night. Locking the place up and turning the lights off. I'm down here by myself during the week at times. I'm doing stuff around the place. I myself, personally, have never seen dark shadows. Ever. One night I was standing in the well room, though, and looking out the doorway, and when I looked up, there was this white grayish man standing in the shape of a person. I looked at it for like 5 or 6 seconds, and it just shot off behind the door frame, which would have came right down through here. Never made a sound or nothing. It was just like, I looked down there, there's nobody there.
How long ago was that?
That was probably about
It's like rain.
about 10 and a half years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear anything down here? Like any disembodied voices?
No. The other day, last week, I was up in the little room upstairs that a ghost named Timmy. Matt can tell you all about him. He's head of security and locked, Matt is, I'm sure, that locked Ghost Adventures up with the chain and the doors and stuff. I was getting some hose and stuff, water hose out to spray the front of the sidewalks and stuff down, and I was standing there and I heard voices talking in there. But I didn't actually get, I heard them and they stopped right away, and it was like 2 people talking, but that's an outside wall at that thing. I wouldn't know for sure if somebody might have been walking behind the building and they were talking and I just didn't see them. But as far as hearing voices and things, no, I don't. I don't know, maybe it's just I'm not open to it enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a paranormal investigator myself, but still, I think I'm too focused on saying, I got to debunk it.
Do you just leave all this stuff down here to be spooky?
No, it's just they throw stuff and that's where it sits. Now the Latin Quarter and the Primrose is sort of like supper club type businesses where you can come in, sit down, order a nice meal. While you're enjoying your meal, watch a show, be it dancing, singing, whatever. All these rooms here were all dressing rooms for the dancers come down, get ready for the shows, hang out at the TV shows, smoke cigarettes, drink drinks.
Did you take the door off?
No, it's still there.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah, it's over here. I'm so used to the door.
Just checking.
I'm so used to the other one having the door over here. Yeah.
There's the door.
Usually on Friday and Saturday nights I try to keep it closed because I don't want drunk people walking back here because of all the holes in the floor and it's pitch black. Plus the electric boxes are back there, the high voltage ones. If they're drunk and they fall against the, they might get electrocuted.
Lawsuit.
Yeah. But this room here was Johanna's dressing room. And you can come on up in.
You can go in.
I don't bite. I nibble a little
Not
bit.
hard.
I like
And we were
Johanna.
hanging out, and and a blue ball shot out of the mirror and went down the wall behind you girls and flew out the door that was closed at the time, and then came back in the door and went down this wall and back into the mirror.
Yeah.
In front of our face, like, and I was like, whoa, cool. Like, it was just, the room got,
a lot of orbs
the
get
room
seen down
got
here.
chilling cold, and it was a bright blue neon ball.
This was Johanna's dressing room. Of course, back in the day, it looked a lot nicer than it does now.
Now I
But Johanna was the daughter of one of the owners of Latin. She was also a dancer here. She fell in love with a singer here by the name of Robert Randall. She ended up getting pregnant by him. When she was 5 months pregnant, they decided to run off together. Well, his father found out about it. He was a very strict, controlling type father who really didn't approve of the relationship to begin with. When he found out what they were going to do, he did what all good fathers would have loved to have done back in those days and had him killed. Now, Johanna was so distraught over the fact of losing her lover, but then to find out that her father was behind the whole thing, she ended up poisoning her father and then herself. Now, claims of activity going on in here is people claim to have their hair pulled on, clothes tugged on. A lot of EVPs are caught in here, voices claiming to be Johanna. People have taken pictures of this back wall where the mirror is and have on occasions caught images in the mirror other than themselves. We actually had one gentleman take a picture and caught in the mirror looked like somebody hanging from the center of the room with a noose around their neck. And actually that's how they believe they killed Robert Randall, was they hung him. Back in December of 2016, I had a tour in here. A lady standing where you're standing, a lady standing where that brown chair is, and two other people standing over there. And I'm standing here talking and telling her story and stuff, and I'm looking down at this chair as I'm talking, and I'm just babbling away about her. All of a sudden, the chair just shook and slid across the floor about 6 inches. Well, the girl was standing there. She turned and looked at the chair because she heard it move, thought it was her friend messing with her. She looked at her friend. She goes, "You just moved the chair?" And her friend said, "No." She goes, "You sure?" She goes, "I swear I did not touch that chair." She looked back at me and I said she didn't. I was looking right at it. I could see everybody's feet, so I knew they didn't move it. They were looking at me listening to talk, so they knew I didn't go over and move it. And I couldn't debunk it because I was staring right at it. If I'd been looking off in another direction, like this, and it moved, I'd have that doubt. Okay, somebody had to have moved it. There's that possibility. But I was looking right at it. I couldn't deny it. And I was really excited when I saw that. I was like a kid in a candy store. It was pretty cool. We also keep roses back here on the counter to symbolize the fact that she did love the smell of roses, and she always wore rose-scented perfume. People claim they've smelled the strong scent of roses even when the bars closed. Bobby brought his oldest daughter in here one night right after he bought the place, and he was showing her around, telling her where, I'm going to put the ballroom here, I'm going to do this here, this here. They got done, they walked out, and he asked her, what do you think? And she said, "I'm never going back in." She said, "I feel like I'm in a funeral home." She says, "I smell roses on a grave in there." She wouldn't go back in for decades. She wouldn't come back in there.
What year did Johanna pass away?
It was back in the 1930s.
Okay.
Yeah, 1930s.
When did they stop using the dressing rooms?
And when the Latin Quarter closed down in the late 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, because they had all the Latin dances, Latin performances. It was a Latin-themed business that sold American and Chinese cuisine, which makes, and it was run by an Italian mob.
You feeling?
Oh God, they're walking all over the place now.
Really?
Go for it.
If you go through this door here, if you happen to get dripped on, it is clean water.
So it's not toilet water.
No.
So yeah, it's pretty wild down here. Now, those noises you hear are just beer cans and bottles falling from the bar above. And the creaking you heard earlier in Johanna's dressing room were people dancing on the dance floor. So I just want to be clear about that.
Watch your feet, girls.
Giving you guys a sneak preview, but here is the portal to hell. That is the well here at Bobby Mackey's. Let's not fall behind. Stick with the tour for now.
Off and on, it's been off and on. Yeah, some night, a couple of years ago, you feel a lot of stuff, a lot of people being touched. I was even touched.
Yeah, that's what we're having problems with tonight, a lot of touching.
That's just for that's kind of creepy, right?
Somebody's
Sometimes
trying
they
to
make
get her
a
attention.
lot of times it'll feel like somebody taking like a light soft paintbrush and just lightly touching you, or taking it into your hair. Some people see them, some people don't. Wanda Kay, that was one of, that used to be our DJ here.
Faces.
Yeah, bless her heart.
I
God
know,
bless
I
her.
know.
It's like a face.
She used to call this one here the George Bush face. Kind of looks like a monkey looking thing.
Squinting in the sun.
The other one down here looks like it's staring up at looking up at the ceiling and screaming. 2 eyes, his mouth wide open. I call that one E.T. because it kind of looks like an alien's face. The most prominent one doesn't have much of a face at all involved in it, but it looks more like a woman laying in bed with her head on a pillow. And that's right here. The white part's the pillow. The dark part's her hair.
Oh wow. You see her?
Her head's right there where her face would be. Her chin, her neck, her shoulder. And then her arm hanging down.
You
The
can
body
almost
just
see,
kind of
like,
fades off into the wall.
That is.
It's just kind of like laying there
Yep.
in bed dead. Or she passed out because she drank too much. And we're on a bar, right?
Pig or something.
Now on this side we've got the baby. The baby's head,
Yeah.
his left arm, his right shoulder, and then his body and torso just kind of fade off into the wall. Then we got the lamb. Got the head, the neck, the body, his little tail, his leg laying down, like he's laying down looking off in that direction. But if you look at the whole thing, it looks like a dragon. The head, the neck, the
No
wings,
clue. Like
the 2 legs hanging down, his tail going off into the background.
all kinds of shit in here.
And then some people say they see a leopard's
Trying to
face
keep it
there.
out, but
One guy must have been a farmer or something. He said, looked to him like a tractor. Some people believe it's just the way the concrete was.
I think that one looks like a sheep or a lamb.
it's
Yeah.
privately rented.
Yeah,
People
the head,
like
the
come
neck,
in.
this body, the little tail, the leg.
So,
It's
what's
like it's
this-
looking off into that direction.
What's the story with the bears?
I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. Just curious. Is that Alvin?
Some people believe it's just the way the concrete was poured when it cured, caused all these shades in the wall, and people look at the shades and believe they see these faces. That leads to why we also call this room a matrixing room. Because matrixing is like looking at a picture that's a chaotic mess, and you're trying to find something in that picture that makes sense to you. The most common thing to the human mind is a face, and that's why it's so easy to pull one out of something, even when there's not really one there. It's like laying out in the backyard looking up at the clouds. You know, there's a kitty cat, there's a bunny rabbit. You know, God, there's my ex-wife's brother's boyfriend. You know. On the spiritual side of it, they did bring psychics and mediums and stuff down here, and they did their thing on the walls, the old doors, the shelving, the whole complete room. And every one of them come back saying the same thing, that these were all faces of the souls of people who were tortured and died in this room. It's back during the Latin Quarter days, if someone accumulated a large gambling debt and couldn't pay it back, or they caught them stealing or cheating in the casino, they'd bring them into this room and beat on them. If they still wouldn't comply to what they wanted, they would have ended up killing them. You just didn't mess with the mob's money or their business.
This is the room they took them out in.
They like this room because it's the most insulated room in the building. You have a thick wall with the street and the hillside in that direction. You have a marble floor over top of it. And this wall, and this wall, if you look, is over 3 feet thick. So they could do whatever they wanted to anybody down here, and they could scream and holler and nobody hear them because it was that insulated. They did the exorcism on him in here as well.
Carl?
No,
No.
Zach from Ghost Adventures, when he got partially
Oh
possessed,
yeah, that's right.
they did the exorcism on him in here as well.
Right.
No, Carl, when he got
It was
possessed, they did the
upstairs.
back in the back corner where the old kitchen used to be. Some people claim they've seen full-bodied apparitions, men, women, and children in this room. Because back during the Slaughterhouse days, they did have children working in the slaughterhouse, mainly because they were small enough to get up in the machinery and make repairs that the adults couldn't get to. They may have gotten killed in the machinery, or they may have gotten in a crowd where the animals were at, something spooked an animal, knocked them down, stomped them to death. That's why you see the toys sitting around here, because the groups, when they come in and do overnight investigations, will use the toys as trigger items to try to communicate with the children. We actually had one group called a Class A EVP of a child saying, "I like bicycles." And they actually brought a bicycle in and left it for them. It was the Ohio Ghost Researchers group actually brought a bike in for them, which I thought was pretty nice of People have caught a lot of EVPs in here. People have felt uncomfortable in here. I've had people come to the door and won't even walk through the door. They stay out there until we're done with this section of the room. They just feel it's so heavy, uncomfortable, and so much sadness. I've had women sometimes just bust out crying, their eyes out, and then when we get them back out, they feel better and they stop, and they just said it's the sadness is so heavy on them that it just made them cry. I've had 2 women on tours scratched in here. The first woman, she was standing right there, had a short sleeve shirt on, her arms hanging down the side. She never moved. Nobody around her. People here, people there, but she's right there, looking right at her. She's looking at me, listening to talk, and all of a sudden she jerks her arm up. She goes, my arm feels like it's burning. We looked at her arm, she had a scratch running all the way down the center. It was so fresh, it was starting to beat up all the way down with blood. And she never moved because I was looking right at her. Well, that was pretty cool. That was in September 2013. October 2016.
We're the only people that think that that's cool.
Yeah.
When people get scratched and they.
Well, she thought it was after I talked to her later on. In October 2016, I had another woman stand in the same spot, listening to me talk and looking right at her. She's looking at me, and all of a sudden she turns to her friend. She goes, my arm feels like it's burning. She pulled her sleeve up, and she had the same scratch running down the same arm as this other woman had, and it was just starting to beat up with blood all the way down. Wow. So to see it happen once was neat, but to see it happen twice to 2 different people the same exact way, 3 years apart, gave more credibility to the first time of happening, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay, you watch the shows, you'll see them bang against each other, or bump into each other, trip over things, walk into walls. You know, I was talking about how dark it is, and you see the only reason you're seeing what you're seeing is because you're seeing it through their night vision. So like Ghost Adventures, Zach will tell Aaron to turn the night vision off so you can see what they're seeing. Of course, you're sitting in your living room, it's all lit up, all you see is a black TV screen.
Pitch black.
This is what they're actually seeing when they're doing these investigations. So for the people who haven't been on an overnight investigation anywhere, it gives you a whole different perspective as to what they're really dealing with and why they do what they do. Plus, it's kind of funny. I'll bring it.
Turn that off real
They
quick.
glows in the dark.
Oh, I was like,
I didn't
oh
notice that.
my god.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
And I do see
Yeah,
it.
Can't see.
I-
Oh, I
The
see.
ball does.
Yeah.
Is it my camera too?
Oh my god.
See, if you look at it this way, it kind of looks like the moon.
Yeah, it does.
None of
Where you
those,
see half
that
of it.
was that freaked me.
Oh, you're so sorry, but
I can't believe that old wall blows me dark.
I know. I looked at it one night. I was down here because sometimes I'll come in here early. Sometimes I come in early and empty the barrels, and I'll sit in here by myself with the lights off. And
Why?
Just to relax my eyes, because the darkness relaxes my eyes.
yeah.
And the first time I did it, I came in and the ball was down underneath the thing down there. What the heck is that?
This is an idol, or what? Just a thing for the kids?
It's just for the kids.
Just for the kids? In the cigarettes? Or for the kids?
Well, I don't wear cigarettes. So now if you'll follow me, we'll
You actually can smell cigar smoke down here at times.
Really?
Yeah, you can actually smell cigar smoke. You can, there's times like the cigarettes will trigger.
Doesn't
the
that door look like
smells
a
and
vampire
that kind of
tomb?
stuff as well.
This door right here. It looks like a vampiric tomb or something. Yeah, it's me. So last time I was here 4 years ago, they actually we all sat down in these chairs and we did an EVP session in here. So again, I kind of turned the camera off. This wall here is known as the Wall of Faces. So they apparently you can see faces ingrained in the concrete on the wall. So it's kind of weird. Again, it's a psychological effect. You can kind of see what you want to see. Man, it is really cold here.
like we used to say, the body shop, pound it in and paint it to match.
Pound it in, paint it.
It is cold here. You feel that? But I think it's like an air conditioning.
Are you okay?
I am.
Okay, this little room here is the old jail cell.
Yep.
Now, back during Latin Quarter days, if somebody accumulated a gambling debt but was going to pay it back, they just didn't have the money on them at that they just didn't have the money on them at that moment. They'd lock them up in here until a friend or relative or somebody come down and pay the money, so they wouldn't skip town on them. Also, sometimes when the mob wanted something from somebody, and they may kidnap somebody they knew or a family member to maybe try to get some property off of them or something. They'd lock them up in here as well. Now, some people have felt uncomfortable up in there and sick to their stomach, come back out and feel fine. People go back up in there again, feel sick to their stomach, come back out and feel fine. Could it be something paranormal, or could it be an underlying case of claustrophobia they don't really realize they have? Came in here one night to unlock the place and turn the lights on and everything else. And I came in here and there was a line of salt across the doorway. And inside on the floor was a circle with a pentagram all done in salt
lovely.
inside.
Don't we love our people
Yeah.
that come visit and destroy our...
Yeah, they come in there doing these overnight investigations and they do whatever they want.
Oh, yeah.
But at least they had the common sense
go.
to seal it off in case they did.
All right, we're going in the jail cell. And it is just kind of a dark, dirty, old brick walled cell.
It reminds me of the dungeon back home.
This, the little dungeon we have in the basement at home, yeah. We grew up in an old house, and there was some crazy old creepy little closet. We called it the dungeon, but a creepy little storage closet in the basement. Oh, wow. So he just said that somebody has seen a full-bodied apparition hanging from this pipe right here in this jail cell looking room.
I thought he was...
You feel something, Connor?
I thought he was...
I don't feel anything. Sit in this chair. All right, we're going to sit in the chair here and see if something happens.
But people have claimed they've seen somebody hanging from the pipe in there. And actually one night I...
It's right above my head right now, by the way. They saw somebody hanging right above me.
Really late, so I had to leave little bits and pieces out because I got a late start. I hate doing that. Wow. So I didn't say nothing about somebody hanging.
All right, well, I will say it's definitely creepy, but I don't feel like anything strange. I don't really feel fear, but it's not a place I'd want to be by myself in the middle of the night, I can tell you that much. All right, let's get out of the jail cell.
There's somebody laying on the floor in the jail cell. So I came in here real
Connor's
quick,
still in
and as
there.
I was coming through the door, she was stumbling out. I set her down on the shelter and asked her if she's okay. And she goes, yeah, I'm fine now. That's when the place would get raided. They'd come down through the trap door, run down the steps, out through the basement, and get away. In reverse, they brought the illegal alcohol up the river, through the basement, up the steps, and everybody got pretty well plastered. It's been long since sealed off, but if you're still able to go up through there right now, you'd be surprising guys with their stuff hanging out because you'd end up in the middle of the men's restroom.
And if you happen to be in the men's restroom at about 2:30 or 2:45 in the morning, chances are you will have a very serious encounter with something coming up through the floor.
Yeah.
And it's happened. It's been very cool.
At 2 in the morning?
2:45ish. We were standing in the men's bathroom and like something
Really,
came up through the floor.
The
I
best
mean, it
time
was-
to feel eeriest
Remember
around
not
here
to be
is
there.
like it's like
2:30.
3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, in the morning. That's when it really gets.
that door?
That's goes on back around to the back of the behind the jail cell. It's where all the toilet pipes are for the bathrooms and stuff.
Is it sealed?
No, it's open. It's just nothing.
Now, when it was the
Oh,
Latin
it's in
Quarter, during the Latin Quarter days, wasn't this in fact one of the servant staircases as well? One of the waiters. They said the waiters used them to go up and down
pretty wild.
into
They
the
have, like, a
main
bunch of
room
old
for service.
paperwork back here. This
Which
is a
the
check
wallpaper because this was the linen room.
from
Yeah, this
1965.
was
That's
what they call
not sure why that's down here.
China linen room.
There's a
bunch of
They
old
had the
checks and
napkins
things.
China
napkin and all
stuff.
the dishes and whatever.
Because it was very swanky.
And a crack pipe.
It was very rich and swanky
Exactly.
and very beautiful.
I kept hearing voices telling me, go down the basement, tear up the floor. Go down the basement, tear up the floor. And he'd go to bed and in his sleep, go down the basement, tear up the floor. So one night he got up in the middle of the night, came down here. As big as this basement is, he knew right where to dig, tore the floor up, and that's when he found the well.
Well, he found the well.
He found the well. He tore the floor up and found the
He
well.
didn't dig a hole like they said on the TV.
No.
He dug the floor up, which you can see
He
the
tore
pieces
the
of the
floor up, and
floor.
that's when he found the well.
Like you can see the pieces of the original floor.
Right.
And he found it.
And he
So
found
he
it.
didn't dig the hole.
He did not dig the hole.
I never knew.
Now, Carl is a very nice, friendly guy. Sweetest guy you'd ever want to meet. He talked to you all night. He treated you like family when he met you. For safety reasons, 2, to keep the river from flooding up into the basement. And 3, to kind of keep people out, because the tunnel still runs out, but it's mostly collapsed. So you'd have to dig in some areas and crawl on your stomach through others. That's not like what you saw on Ghost Adventures, because that was not the tunnel. But this is where they dumped the blood and the guts when the slaughterhouse was open. When the slaughterhouse closed, this is where they were coming in and throwing their satanic worshiping offerings and all sacrifices down in there. Tell us where the head is. Well, they said he couldn't do it because it bring wrath of Satan down. So with those words being said, in fact, what went on as well, satanic ritual, closeness to where they found the body, which even had a bloodhound follow a scent trail from the body to the slaughterhouse. They believe that they threw their head down into the wells and all that. Stairway to heaven here, the portal to hell here, and we're stuck in between the two.
We're stuck in purgatory, but so I'm looking at the stairway to heaven here at Bobby Mackey's, and right here is the portal
I had a guy
to
one night
hell.
so drunk he fell over the railing, went down there head first, knocked
You're gonna have to
himself
wait till we're
out.
in the car and tell you what happened.
It's crazy.
It's the waiver.
That's why I
So this is the infamous portal
Is
to
there a
hell.
nail
It's a
waiver?
well here in the basement that supposedly, when this place was a slaughterhouse, the blood from all the animals killed flowed into this drainage here, this well, and into the looking creek outside. So, yeah, pretty crazy. It's pretty weird, right, Connor? Like, we've seen like Ghost Adventures, we've seen all these different shows, and here we are. We're at Bobby Mackey's.
As the most beautiful room when you came down the stairs, and the servers and the wait staff, and like I sat in here at 4 in the morning and listened to the clinking of
Stairway of Heaven.
china and them grabbing china off of this table.
I don't get it. So it used to be a basement. This was the whole.
I think. All right. So this is the stairway to heaven at Bobby Mackey's Music World. I'm standing in this stairway to heaven. I'm leaving the stairway to heaven now, and I'm entering the portal to hell. It's not where you want to be. Just kidding. I'm not going to fall. But right here, right below me, is the portal to hell here at Bobby Mackey's. So to be honest with you guys, I don't feel anything right now. I'm not really creeped out. I feel pretty comfortable, but I know like at a lot of haunted places, things can change at the snap of a finger. So
There used to be a door
I don't know. You feel
here.
pretty good, Connor?
Yeah. This feels completely.
Yeah. It's still creepy though. I would never want to be down here by myself, especially in the dark.
There was a door
But
here
it's
and
crazy.
There were bullet holes in the door.
There was which door?
There used to be a door here.
Oh, right
When
here.
I was here overnight, there used to be a door here. There were 2 bullet holes in the door from from a shootout.
Really?
Yeah, so like
Do
they
they-
actually fired.
Do they
like,
know how many people actually have died here? Is there any like actual
There is
historical
no,
evidence?
there wouldn't be.
Right.
Okay.
Just people disappeared.
You have to think about. During that time period, and
Right.
you've got upstairs. You've got beautiful music playing and people performing, and these
Yeah.
rich people like sitting in these beautiful tables. And then you've got down here. Sorry, you've got. When did you take the door with the bullet holes on?
It's actually over on the other side, straight across from you.
Really? So the door is actually here?
And then
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Those are both. Oh, wow.
Wrong.
It's not that I
room.
don't.
I know,
Holy
I'm sorry.
cow.
It's just one of my favorite stories.
Did you see that? Those are bullet holes right here. Right there. Dude, that's insane. All right, we're gonna leave.
Try to shove as much as I can in into half an hour.
So I just got more water dripping on me.
Yeah, I call that our.
It's not ectoplasm. It's just
I actually, since it's clean water, I call it our automatic holy water.
I've been cleansed.
I want to thank you for taking the tour. This brings us back to kind of where we started. And I do want to thank you for taking the tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't bore you too bad.
No.
No, not at all.
And now I'll let you head back up and you can add your bottles to freak out the next group I bring down.
Thank you very much.
But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, we've survived the tour. We've survived the Bobby Mackey haunted tour, but we're going back into the bar, and I know that things could still happen upstairs, but we're gonna enjoy a cold drink while we can. But anyway, so long, Spirits of Bobby Mackey World. Thank you, Mark, very much.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you for the history here.
You're definitely welcome. Even if you're not into the paranormal, the history alone
Oh,
is amazing.
I've actually had some experiences, not here, but at some other locations across the country. So I've the craziest experience I've ever had was at the Whaley House in San Diego, California. I had a woman whisper at me in a room, and I cannot explain it. I was alone in the room, and it was clear as day, like it was from across the way the voice carried, and I cannot explain it. So I've actually had some strange things. So that got me interested.
I investigate.
I think it was pagey. 325. For Emma's book.
All right, we're gonna go watch Bobby Mackey. We got some spirits. Bobby Mackey's playing, so let's go watch him right over here. Nothing like touring spirits and having a few spirits too.
She was crying when I met her. She cries harder today. So don't blame her. Life turned her that way. She's been stepped on, walked on so many times, and I hate to admit it, but that last footprint's mine. Let's do this little song here. Tell him to play Johanna. Go tell him to play Johanna. Send me the pillow. Send me the pillow that you dream on. So darling, I can dream on it too. Lord. Send me the pillow that you dream on.
All right, well, we've survived the spirits of Bobby Mackey's Music World, one of the most haunted honky tonks, bars, whatever you want to call it, in America. It is pretty creepy. So again, walking out, you can see there's where the creepy demonic dungeon basement is. Hopefully nothing follows us home. If you like what you saw, please subscribe below. There's gonna be plenty more haunted material coming your way for the month of October. In the meantime, it is time for me to get out of here. Hopefully nothing follows me back to the hotel. But thanks for watching, everyone.
Never once look back at your home across the track. You're the gossip of the